everyone, this is CA Mansi Vohra, and on behalf of CA Sansar, I welcome you all to our YouTube channel. And today we will be discussing a ruling issued by Karnataka Authority of Advanced Ruling. So this ruling is very important for those individuals who are receiving income under interest, salary, rent, capital gains, majority proceeds of LIC and other incomes, which we will be discussing. And do these incomes form part of aggregate turnover for the purpose of registration? So this video would clarify the doubts. So here point to be noted is that rulings of AAR are binding on that applicant only and to the concerned jurisdictional officer and not on any other taxpayer. But these rulings help to clarify the doubts of individuals. So we are discussing this ruling today, and let's start our discussion. This ruling was sought by Messrs. Anil Kumar Agarwal. He was receiving following types of income that were partner salary as partner from partnership firm, salary as director from private limited company, various types of interest incomes, and receipts of maturity proceeds of life insurance policies, dividend on shares, rent on commercial property as well as residential property, and capital gain or loss on sale of shares. So, in view of the above, the applicant has sought advanced ruling in respect of the following questions. First question was, out of the given sources of income or revenue, which all revenue income shall be considered for aggregate turnover of registration? मतलब कि इन इनकम में से कौन सी एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर में इंक्लूड होंगी फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ registration? And second question was, out of given nature of income or revenue, when the supply, even if exempted, need to be considered, कि अगर exempt है supply तो भी तो उसको consider करेंगे. So these were the questions sought by applicant. So his questions were covered in 97(2)(f) of CGST Act 2017, and that too in an indirect way, as the question was about aggregate turnover for registration. Therefore, the application was partially admitted. So let's see what Act says. Moving on to 97(2)(f), it says whether application is required to be registered. So this is the question mentioned in Act. So this question was covered, but in an indirect way, as the main question was about aggregate turnover, whether the incomes were to be included in aggregate turnover for the purpose of registration or not. But this application was partially admitted by authority. So moving on further, we'll discuss discussions and findings of authority. But before that, for the clarity of findings, we will first discuss the terms aggregate turnover and supply. So aggregate turnover means aggregate value of all taxable supplies, excluding the value of inward supplies on which tax is payable by a person on reverse charge basis. Exempt supplies, export of goods or services or both, and interstate supplies of persons having the same permanent account number to be computed on all India basis, but excludes central tax, state tax, union territory tax, integrated tax, and cess. So in simplified form हम इसको समझे aggregate turnover को. It is to be computed on all India basis under the same PAN from business or profession or income from other sources. It equals aggregate value of all taxable supplies. Then we will add exempted supplies. Exempted supplies are those supplies which are taxable but are exempt under GST Act. Then zero rated supplies are to be added. Zero rated supplies means export of goods or service to SEZ. Then nil rated supplies are to be added. These are the supplies whose rate are mentioned as nil in GST. Then interstate supplies are to be added. These are basically the branch transfers. Suppose एक ही पैन है मेरे बिजनेस का एंड मैं अपनी ही ब्रांच को कुछ गुड्स ट्रांसफर कर रही हूँ इंटरस्टेट दूसरी स्टेट में, तो दैट विल बी कवर्ड अंडर दिस. That means it will form part of my turnover. Then we will deduct inward supplies on which tax is payable by a person on reverse charge basis. Reverse charge basis पे inward supplies जो है that will be deducted. Then amount of tax, whether it is central tax, state tax, union territory tax, integrated tax and cess, that will be deducted. And activities which are neither supply of goods nor services under Schedule 3 of CGST Act, these will also get deducted. So here a point is to be noted that outward supplies on which RCM is to be paid by the recipient shall be included in aggregate turnover. ऊपर हमने पढ़ा inward supplies on which tax is payable by a person on reverse charge basis. These are to be excluded. But outward supplies जिस पे RCM pay हो रहा है by recipient, these will form part of aggregate turnover. Then next हम सप्लाई की डेफिनेशन देखें अंडर सेक्शन 7(1)(a) ऑफ CGST Act 2017. It stipulates that any transaction must consist the following three components to get qualified as supply. तो सप्लाई की अगर क्वालिफिकेशन के लिए ये तीन कंडीशंस फुलफिल करनी पड़ेंगी. दैट इज द ट्रांजैक्शन मस्ट इन्वॉल्व अ सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स और सर्विसेज और बोथ, such as sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, rental, lease, or disposal made or agreed to be made. The transaction must be for a consideration by a person, and the transaction must be in the course or furtherance of business. So ये conditions satisfy करके ही एक transaction को we will qualify it as supply. So supply बनेगा तभी ही aggregate turnover में fall करेगा, 2(6) सेक्शन में जाएगा. एंड ऑल्सो एक बात हमें ध्यान रखना है कि एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर में जैसे कि हमने डिस्कस किया टैक्सेबल सप्लाईज भी आएंगी और एग्जेम्प्ट सप्लाईज भी कवर होंगी. सो हमने देख लिया ये डेफिनेशन ऑफ एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर और सप्लाई की. अब हम मूव करते हैं जो AR की फाइंडिंग्स थी. सो पहले हम डिस्कस करेंगे सोर्स ऑफ इंटरेस्ट इनकम रिसीव्ड फ्रॉम डिफरेंट सोर्सेज. सो पॉइंट C से लेकर P में एप्लीकेंट वाज रिसीविंग interest incomes. These interest income were interest income on partners fixed capital, interest income on partners variable capital, interest received on loan given, interest received on advance given, interest accumulated along with deposit or fixed deposit, interest income received on deposit or fixed deposit, interest received on debentures, interest accumulated on debentures, interest on post office deposits, interest income on National Savings Certificate NSCs, interest income credited on PF account, accumulated interest along with principal received on closure of PF account, interest income on PF, interest income on National Pension Scheme NPS. So these all were the interest incomes from different sources. So these interest incomes are out of deposits or loans extended by the applicant. Hence, via entry number 27A of notification number 12/2017, central tax rate dated 28 June 2017, these are exempted. बट अभी हम पढ़ के आए कि एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर में टैक्सेबल सप्लाईज भी आएंगी और एग्जेम्प्टेड सप्लाईज भी आएंगी. सो दीज interest incomes will form part of aggregate turnover although these are exempt. और बात करें वैल्यू की, तो जो एक्चुअल अमाउंट्स हैं of deposits, loans, advances, they will become the value of service जब हम एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर में इनको ऐड करेंगे. सो ये वाले जो अमाउंट्स हैं ये एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर में इंक्लूड हो जाएंगे फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ रजिस्ट्रेशन अंडर जीएसटी. नेक्स्ट हम बात करेंगे पार्टनर्स सैलरी रिसीव्ड एज अ पार्टनर फ्रॉम एप्लीकेंट्स पार्टनरशिप फर्म. यहाँ पे एप्लीकेंट ने डॉक्यूमेंट्स नहीं दिए थे रूलिंग को जिससे कि डिसाइड हो सके दैट वेदर ही इज अ एम्प्लॉय ऑफ पार्टनरशिप फर्म और नॉट. सो इन दिस केस एडवांस अथॉरिटी ने रूलिंग दी कि इफ एप्लीकेंट इज अ वर्किंग पार्टनर and he is getting salary, then the said salary is neither supply of goods nor supply of service in terms of clause 1 of schedule 3 of CGST Act 2017. Further, in case if the applicant is in receipt of the amount towards his share of profit from the said partnership firm, then also the said income is not under the purview of GST, as the share of profit is nothing but application of money, and hence the said salary is not required to be included in the aggregate turnover for registration under the provision of GST Act. So यहाँ पे रूलिंग जो दी गई वो ये थी कि एप्लीकेंट अगर वर्किंग पार्टनर है और वो सैलरी विड्रॉ कर रहा है या शेयर ऑफ प्रॉफिट विड्रॉ कर रहा है, दोनों ही आउट ऑफ पर्व्यू है ऑफ जीएसटी एंड दे विल नॉट फॉर्म पार्ट ऑफ एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर अंडर द प्रोविजंस ऑफ जीएसटी एक्ट. अगर वो सैलरी रिसीव कर रहे हैं तो क्लॉज 1 शेड्यूल 3 में दे विल नीदर बी supply of goods nor supply of services, so they will be out of purview of GST. and अगर शेयर ऑफ प्रॉफिट की बात करें, अगर शेयर ऑफ प्रॉफिट विड्रॉ कर रहा है तो दैट इज नथिंग बट एप्लीकेशन ऑफ मनी, again it will be out of purview of GST and hence they will not form part of aggregate turnover. Next we will discuss salary received as director from a private limited company. अब इस पे ऑलरेडी एक राजस्थान एआर रूलिंग आ चुकी है, उसमें देखते हैं क्या रूलिंग उन्होंने पास की थी. दैट रूलिंग वाज सॉट बाय मेसर्स क्ले क्राफ्ट इंडिया प्राइवेट लिमिटेड एंड इसमें जो रूलिंग है वो पास की गई थी दैट द कंसिडरेशन पेड टू डायरेक्टर्स बाय द एप्लीकेंट कंपनी विल अट्रैक्ट जीएसटी अंडर रिवर्स चार्ज मैकेनिज्म एज इट इज covered under entry number 6 of notifications number 13/2017, central tax rate dated 28 June 2017 under section 9(3) of CGST Act 2017. so इसमें इन्होंने रूलिंग पास करी कि डायरेक्टर्स को जो कंसिडरेशन पे हो रही है दैट विल बी कवर्ड अंडर रिवर्स चार्ज मैकेनिज्म और जीएसटी के अंदर चार्जेबल हो जाएगा. तो यहाँ पे जो सिमिलर इशू आया कर्नाटका एडवांस रूलिंग के सामने, तो यहाँ पे इन्होंने दो पॉसिबिलिटीज ली. फर्स्ट पॉसिबिलिटी वाज दैट कि एप्लीकेंट इज अ एम्प्लॉय ऑफ द सेड कंपनी, मतलब कि अगर वो एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर है, सो इन दैट केस सर्विसेज ऑफ एन एप्लीकेंट is as an employee to the employer and are neither treated as supply of goods neither as supply of services in terms of schedule 3 of CGST Act 2017 and hence these will not form part of aggregate turnover. But in case of applicant being non-executive director. So in that case, remuneration paid by company is eligible to GST in the hands of company under reverse charge mechanism. Reverse charge mechanism apply हो जाएगा और उस केस में it will be eligible to GST. But here point is to be noted, अगर वो GST का पार्ट बन रहा है तो एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर में से जो इनवर्ड सप्लाईज होती हैं on which RCM is to be paid, so that is to be excluded. बट अगर हम प्रोवाइडर की बात करें, दैट इज इन इस केस में जो डायरेक्टर है उसकी एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर में ये अमाउंट इंक्लूड हो जाएगा. सो यहाँ पे दो पॉसिबिलिटीज ली और उनके अकॉर्डिंगली उन्होंने ये रूलिंग पास की. सो दिस इज इन कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन टू क्लेक्राफ्ट प्राइवेट लिमिटेड के केस में जो जजमेंट पास की गई थी. बट हमने पहले ही डिस्कस किया इस वीडियो में कि जो एडवांस रूलिंग होती है दैट इज बाइंडिंग ऑन एप्लीकेंट एंड द कंसर्न ज्यूरिसडिक्शनल ऑफिसर. सो इसके लिए कोई अलग जजमेंट आ भी रही है, सो इट कैन बी पॉसिबल इन दैट वे ऑल्सो. लाइक हम एक्ट में भी देखें, the advance ruling pronounced by the authority or the appellate authority under this chapter shall be binding only on the applicant who had sought it in respect of the matter referred to in subsection 2 of section 97 for the advance ruling, and on the concerned officer or the jurisdictional officer in respect of the applicant. So there might be a possibility कि एक अलग जजमेंट जो है वो पास हो सकती है. So this was salary received as in case of company by director. Next we will discuss rental income on commercial property. इस केस में it will amount to supply under section 7(1)(a) of CGST Act 2017, जैसे कि अभी हम definition पढ़ के आए थे. So it will form part of supply, और supply होते ही this will form part of aggregate turnover for the purpose of registration. And next we will discuss rental income on residential property. अब residential property की बात की जाए, so उस पे जो services by way of renting or of residential dwelling for the use as residence classified under SAC 997211 are exempted from tax GST in the terms of entry number 12 of notification number 12/2017 dated 28 June 2017. So these are exempt supplies, but aggregate turnover की definition में है कि it will include taxable supplies as well as exempt supplies. So exempt supplies include होती है aggregate turnover में. So rental income from residential property will also get included in aggregate turnover for the purposes of registration. Next हम बात करें डिविडेंड ऑन शेयर्स की, कैपिटल गेन और लॉसेस ऑन सेल ऑफ शेयर्स की. These are relevant to shares, securities, and the income earned in this relation is nothing but application of money. So this will not be included in the definition of goods and services. So अगर वो GST के परव्यू से ही बाहर हो गया, so it will not form part of aggregate turnover. Hence these will not get added to aggregate turnover. Similarly हम बात करें income out of maturity proceeds of life insurance policy. So यहाँ पे this is not any service involved between policy holder and insurance company, क्योंकि हम बात कर रहे हैं maturity proceeds की. So therefore the amount received on maturity proceeds of the insurance company are not relevant to aggregate turnover, and these will not be required to add it to aggregate turnover for the purposes of registration. So these all were the incomes which the applicant was receiving, and we have discussed findings on all these incomes. And finally जो ruling pass किया गया वो था that the income received towards salary remuneration as a non-executive director of a private limited company, renting of commercial property, renting of residential property, and value of amounts extended as deposit, loan, advances out of interest is being received are to be included in aggregate turnover for registration. And income received from renting of residential property is to be included in the aggregate turnover, though it is an exempted supply. So हम बात करें income towards salary as a non-executive director, renting of commercial property, renting of residential property, and fourth, amount extended as deposit, loans, advances out of which interest is received. These incomes are to be included in aggregate turnover. Also, इन्होंने कहा कि income received from renting of residential property, although this is an exempt supply, still aggregate turnover की definition में exempt supplies भी include होती हैं, so they will form part of aggregate turnover. I hope you liked this video. So thank you.